But in 1969, humankind, landed on the moon for the first time, right? And everybody knows Neil and Buzz, but folks forget about Mike. Mike was the guy who got there first, got there last. He stayed in the ship. He did not land on the surface. He made sure that Neil and Buzz had a ride home. That's kind of important. You know, these are the things that we need to do, fellas, you know, while you're down there playing golf or whatever it is that you're doing. Small stepping and giant leaping. While they were doing that, Mike took the opportunity on the backside of the moon for the first time ever to take a picture, for the first time ever, I should say, of the rest of humanity, because he was by himself and he realized that in front of him on the moon, Neil and Buzz were there. But then the Earth was rising, and that was the entire rest of the race. And that's incredible to me, that he took that photo and it was in focus. And, you know, imagine getting the negatives back and you're like, damn it. Got to go back. You know, millions, thousands, miles, whatever. It's a long way. Anyway, folks don't really remember Mike so much, but he was the dude that made it all happen behind the scenes and didn't get quite so much credit. So I'd like to do this next song for Michael Collins, the bass player of the Astronauts. Oh, poor old Michael Collins, he's so close, so far away. But someone had to stay behind on that July day. There's 3 men up on Saturn, and there's 2 men in the limb. But 1 man had to hang around, and Michael, it was him. Well, he got his wings in saber jets way out west in Waco town. But 11 out of 22 drove sabers to the ground. Mike learned to strafe, Mike learned to bomb, Mike learned how to survive. His jet caught fire and Mike punched out, but he made it back down alive. And floating down a parachute, he's floating up in space. He's floating in the life raft at the end of the moon race. Neil went down the ladder, Buzz went walking too. Mike Collins was the other guy to make it to the moon. Oh, Mike, he was never first, and oh, Mike, he was never last. Only finished top 200 in his early West Point class. But Collins, he could fly anything around or on the earth. And when they chose the astronauts, Mike Collins came in third. But it don't add up when you count down, there's too many ways to die. When you're lying on your backside and you're tearing through the sky. For blue is black and up is down, God's children all below. And your wife and kids are worrying to a little radio. Floating down a parachute, floating up in space, floating in a life raft at the end of the moon race. Neil went down the ladder, Buzz went walking too. Mike Collins was the other guy to make it to the moon. Now it's time to try tranquility, so Neil flew off forthwith. But he nearly run plumb out of gas above the regolith. But Apollo, he shone his light down where Michael sat marooned. 3/4 of an hour passed each time around the moon. Say, what's a man to wonder so far away from here, on the far side of the satellite, above the atmosphere? The blue dot in the window where Michael Collins lives. What does the man who didn't land fly back home and tell his kids? Floating down a parachute, floating up in space. He's floating in a life raft at the end of the moon race. Said Neil went down the ladder and Buzz went walking too. Mike Collins was the other guy to make it to the moon. Say Neil went down the ladder, Buzz went walking too. Mike Collins, he was the other guy. He made it to the moon.